So our paper is about the systems that the people, the growers who actually work here, they use inside these greenhouses. And in particular, what kind of systems that they use and the user experiences of those systems. So what we do in our study is that we ask growers to fill out questionnaires 3 times during the day and also in the evening about the user experiences using a climate management system to control the climate within those greenhouses. Really cold, and you need a lot of energy to preserve the indoor climate in those greenhouses. And also you need to avoid fungi and other kinds of diseases for the plants, pot plants or tomatoes or vegetables and so on. So by doing this diary study with the greenhouse growers, we were actually able to get data points about their user experiences when they actually used the system, not only when they walked around in the working ecosystem where those systems were present, but also when they actually used them. And also we were able to get them momentary, concurrently when they had the finish, but also in retrospective in each evening, inspired by Kahnemans. So we used 2 tools to capture during the day. We used our own developed from field studies. Myself and a couple of other people have done in greenhouses like this, looking at the growers, talking to them, and developed our own questionnaire based on that. And also we used that during the day because that we're able to domain specific. We're able to capture actually the actual work tasks and who they were with and where they worked in the greenhouses, like inside, or whether they went to the office and sat from the desktop computer and managed the climate. And also from the evening questionnaire, we used the attractive Mark Hasensaat's questionnaire, which because it's kind of a standardized questionnaire. And when we analyzed the results from this, what we found was somewhat surprising. This is why our title of the paper is Ordinary User Experiences at Work. Is that these user experiences of the growers were pretty kind of ordinary. It was really hard to see anything both from the data and also from the qualitative data, which you can find in the paper, which kind of reveal that the users, the growers really experienced their work system as pretty around the middle of the scale and pretty ordinary and nothing extraordinary. So very far from this experience of, wow, I got a new iPhone, which is kind of associated with most user experience theory that we have around in the world. So no dramatic peaks in experience. And also, over the days, we studied them for 10 days, over several weeks. And also, you could also say it was not high. It was kind of middle of the scale. It was not like high up at a very good, or it was not very poor. So it was, they were happy with their jobs or satisfied, but not really extraordinarily happy. So of course that raises the question of how high should user experience of work actually be? What are we aiming for when we design for this kind of work? If you actually come and listen to the presentation of the paper, I'll be able to give you some details about the data and also about the trends over the weeks, and maybe you could ask me some questions because we can compare our study to existing UX literature and ask the question why it is that it seems like when you are past the first initial period of using a new system, or if there are no dramatic kind of errors or reinstalling systems or anything like that, in most of the time when you're actually working with a system, most of the system's lifetime, the user experience would be pretty ordinary in a work situation. And how is it that we have not discussed this in HCI, at least not enough, and how to design for that, and should we change our theories of that? And these are some of the things which we'll be happy to talk about.